welcome to Right Answers Mostly, a podcast on what you didn't learn in history class, but you really wanted to. I'm Claire Donald.
And I'm Tess Bellomo.
Hello, Tess Bellomo. You're back from your honeymoon, baby.
I am back. I know I've had a little bit of an absence, so love seeing Alice and Hannah and friends of the pod step in. And thank you, Claire, for all of the hard ram work.
Oh my God, we just missed you so much. No hard work, just missing our baby.
I know. I was so excited to get back and dive into research and hear about this episode. I am excited for the rest of the fall and what we are going to be doing because it's just going to be a good season.
No, same. As you guys know, fall is coming up, so that means that True Crime on Ram is coming up. We're brainstorming.
Always drop a comment if there's anything that comes to mind. But yeah, we're going to keep you guys happy.
And if you want to hear more about Tessa's honeymoon and what I've been up to, we did a full recap on our premium channel, which on our premium channel, you also get 3 bonus episodes a month, added to close friends on Facebook. You know, it's just you become even closer to the Ram fam. So if you want to join premium, in the show notes. What's so funny?
You said on Facebook, and I was like, I haven't heard Facebook for so long.
Oh my God. No, don't go to Facebook, you guys. Correction, Instagram, Meta, the metaverse. But I digress. Tess, I'm so happy to be back.
I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be hearing about this icon and legend today.
Icon and legend, you got that right, Tess. We're going to be talking about Tina Turner today. What do you know about Tina Turner? What are your feelings about Tina Turner?
I am ashamed to say I actually don't know much, which is always so exciting to learn the full story. You warned me a little bit that it's going to be emotional. I could kind of have some guesses as to why, but I really don't know how she got started.
So I was on the plane on the way back from Montreal. Obviously, a plane makes you emotional. I was PMSing, but there was just tears streaming down my face just watching her performances. So it's loaded.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
It's powerful. It's powerful. And our sources will be in our show notes, but I highly, highly recommend that y'all watch the HBO doc. I think it's just called Tina. It is because I can tell you all about her and we can talk about her story, but seeing her performances that's the way to really grasp her essence.
It's always such a special treat, when we do an episode and when we tell you guys to watch the doc, you will just feel so much more connected and always take advantage of that.
Yeah, she is a force. I actually didn't know that much about her before my research as well, but my mom, Cindy, actually did see her in 1971 perform, which is
amazing.
Iconic. She said it was life-changing. She's never seen anything like it.
What city?
In Fayetteville, Arkansas, my hometown.
Oh,
Can you believe?
That's so cool. I love that.
I know. I never would have thought. But yeah, what a once in a lifetime artist. So I think that we should just get right into her.
Let's do it.
Okay, you guys, up front, I do want to give a little trigger warning. We will be discussing domestic violence and sexual assault in this episode. So if that's something that is just not for you today, we could totally understand and we will catch you next week. So she was born Anna Mae Bullock, that's her real name, on November 26, 1939. So what we have is a Sag Queen.
Okay. Of course.
Of course, this fire sign,
Love it.
She would be. So she grew up in a community called Nutbush, which I was like, wow, what a town name. What a fucking legacy.
That's a real fucking legacy.
So she grew up in Nutbush, Tennessee. It's a rural area outside of Memphis. Her parents were both sharecroppers. So Tina worked with them in the fields picking cotton, and she started so early. She was like, I can't even remember how old I was when I started. Obviously, it was very intense work. But as a young girl, she found joy through singing and acting. She performed on the streets for change, and then she would take that money that she made and go to the movies.
When it was 5 cents a film.
Exactly. And so she saw Lucille Ball and Loretta Young and all these beautiful ladies of Hollywood, and they were her role models for being a performer. But she herself is not even conceptualizing becoming a performer because one, she didn't think she was beautiful, which is insane.
God, that's every story of a woman, right?
Exactly.
I'd actually love to cover someone where they're just I thought I was the fucking hottest thing I'd ever seen. How refreshing would that be?
It would be amazing. Maybe one of these days we will find that. She also didn't have these clothes and the means, but she was so drawn to performing. Unfortunately, As a young child in her household, domestic violence was prevalent. Her father would beat her mother, and her mother actually would fight back. So they were constantly fighting, and that was always in front of Tina and her sisters. Tina said her mother used to just sit in a kitchen window when she was making dinners on Sundays and always just stare out. And Tina would just watch her mother and just think, oh my God, my mom is so pretty.
Uh,
I know. And then Tess, one day her mom just wasn't sitting in the window any longer because her mom just completely up and left them without any explanation. And then her dad comes home and panicked that her mom left, and then her dad leaves them. hmm
oh my God.
So Tina's parents completely leave her and her two sisters. They end up going to live with a cousin and then I think their grandma. But once her parents left, there was absolutely no contact. They didn't send money for food or clothes, nothing.
Ever again?
Tina ends up getting in contact with her mother later. I think like around high school age, she ends up moving to St. Louis with her
Ugh,
sisters and her mom. I don't think that she had any contact with her dad ever again.
man, that is devastating.
She said this about her mother leaving, quote, "That's when I found out how much I loved her because I also began to hate her then. That's when you know the difference in love and hate because I felt that. She left, which was fine, but I wanted her to come for us and I waited, but she never did."
Oh God, I'm too hormonal for this.
I know.
I'm already just
Oh,
devastated.
babe, we are just getting started.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
obviously, Tina and her sisters have to grow up from a very early age. As a teenager, Tina worked as a domestic worker. She was a self-professed tomboy, but she also joined the cheerleading squad. She played on the basketball team, and she socialized every chance she got.
Oh, cheerleading and basketball girly. It's kind of like it's us and a together.
You playing basketball, like, still just doesn't compute for me.
That's what everyone says. I'm like, guys, I was 5'8" when I was like 10.
We need to see you out on the court, Test, because I don't even think I've ever seen you hold a basketball.
I will send you photos of me in my basketball uniform, and then you'll all see the truth.
You all say the truth.
I would love for people to believe that I watch The Office and play basketball, but those are just two things that no one can wrap their heads around, so that's fine.
Yeah, if y'all are new here, it's our trope that Tess has never watched The Office. Like, it just doesn't seem to fit you.
Seen every episode like multiple times, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. But anyway,
Fine.
back to Tina.
But back to Tina. Yeah, so growing up, she always kind of felt a little bit out of place. She never felt like people quite understood her. And to me, I honestly think it was just she was too big for Nutbush.
She had to go to the city of dreams.
She had to get out. So like I said, Tina and her sister eventually moved to St. Louis with her mom. I'm not really sure how they reconnected. And Tina and her sister began frequently visiting a nightclub. She's 17 years old. Also, again, remember at this point, her name is Anime, but we're just going to
That
call her Tina to simplify it.
that's fine.
Keep it clean.
Yeah.
So one night they're at this club and they see this artist perform, and his name is Ike Turner. And Ike Turner at this time is like the hottest guy with the hottest band in town. Like they are those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So she sees him play and she's just like, Jesus. She said she almost went into a trance when she saw him play, like the way he sang, the way he played guitar. She was in.
She's just a woman.
So one night she hung around and she was like, "Hey, Ike, can I sing in your band?" And he was kind of like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, I'll call you." He never does, but Tina is persistent and she would wait at the shows every night trying to get his attention. And then one night the drummer finally came down, gave her a mic and was like, "Okay, let's see what you got."
Oh, I
So,
love her persistence.
oh my God, she was like, "I've just got to perform." Like this woman, if there's one thing that brings her joy, it is performing.
She needs the stage.
She needs the stage. So she starts singing, and everyone was just like, holy shit. Like, it was this massive voice coming out of this, like, frail little girl. She's 5'4". She's little.
Oh, I always thought of her as tall. Like
Well,
maybe she's
honey,
her energy.
when you see her long legs, like, she's 5'4", but those legs go for miles when she's
It's like no
performing.
torso. Love.
I love, like, what more could you want?
Hot.
So she starts singing. Everyone is shook. And so Ike's like, "All right, babe, you are in the band." She starts singing with them every weekend. She kind of goes into this like Hannah Montana thing because on the weekend she would sing with Ike and his band. And then on Mondays she would go to school because she's still 17 at this time.
How was Ike an older man?
Ike was 25. So,
Okay. I was
yes.
picturing him, like, in his 50s. So, okay,
Yeah.
that's better than what I thought.
He's older, he's 25, but then, he starts, like, buying her all these furs and these new wardrobes and, like, making her feel like a star, and he becomes, like, this hero big brother figure for her, and he said that he always saw her as a little sister,
But
which
the
we
but the
talked about
last
this before.
the last name concerns me.
We talked about this before when guys are always like, "She's like a little sister to me."
Guys, comment on comment on anything that we post, and if a man has said that to you, and then if you have ended up sleeping with him.
Exactly, exactly, because it always ends up that way.
The ratio is shocking.
It
Mhm.
truly is. It truly is. For her, he was like this foundation and this family love that she never had. So eventually she ended up falling in love with him.
God, isn't that kind of how, like, Jay-Z and Beyoncé started? Where she was like, "I look up to you, and you're, like, brotherly," and then you know what I
Tess,
mean?
100%. And I want us to keep that in our back pocket later because we'll be talking about
Okay.
Jay Z and Beyonce later.
Oh, interesting. Okay, okay.
So, a little bit more about Ike Turner and who he was. He's credited with creating the first rock and roll record in 1951 called Rocket 88, and he's like a huge part of R&B history. I feel like he was pretty much regionally known when he met Tina, but not quite um like known across the country, but he's making an impact on the music industry. But when Rocket 88 comes out, his rock and roll record, I'm pretty sure he was, like, in charge of the whole thing, producing it, but his saxophone player was the lead singer on it. So when the record came out, the saxophone player got all the credit for it and then took that and ran and kind of left Ike in the dust.
Oh my god,
And
that would send me. There's nothing like someone taking credit for your work, and we feel very strongly about this, even though I
yeah,
know
we
I
do.
did say conflicting feelings during the Steve Madden episode. But that was I was in a mood that day.
Well, it's also called dualite.
Dualite, holding space for the gray area.
Right. Well, Ike will take this and just obsess over this idea his entire life. Like, I take people, I make them famous, and the minute they become famous, they abandon me. Like, he just obsesses over it.
I mean, I would too.
Well, so then Tina's 17 years old and she makes this promise to him, like, I promise you, I will never leave you. I'm never going to do that to you. And you know what? You probably shouldn't be held responsible for promises that you make at 17. Okay.
Mm,
I'm just going to say that.
I mean, you're literally a child.
You're literally a child. She finishes school at this time. They record a record together, and Ike is like, this is going to be a hit record. People are going to love us. Sign this contract. Okay. Tina is 17 years old. She's a country girl, and Ike exploits that.
Yeah, I'm sure she wasn't looking at the fine details.
Well, of course. And you've got this guy who's already in the industry who's like, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Furthermore, Ike was obsessed with this show called Sheena, the Queen of the Jungle.
Sheena
Sheena.
Shea?
Sheena, Queen of the Jungle was a working title for Vanderpump Rules, but they went ahead and went with Vanderpump Rules.
Sheena wishes. Sheena wishes.
Sheena wishes. So Ike was obsessed with this show called Sheena and obsessed with this woman, Sheena. So he's like, take Sheena, turn it into Tina. She's going to be Tina Turner. And then we are going to be Ike and Tina Turner. That's your new name. Our band is going to be the Ike and Tina Turner Review. He changes it without even asking her. He's like, this is just what it is now. And Tess, he does this to trap her because it's like, if you have my name, you can never leave me. And we're always going to be associated together.
Also, how, like, kind of traumatizing as a 17-year-old girl to have your identity just completely stripped away from you. Like, this is your entirely new name, and it's connected to me, and you're gonna deal
Yeah.
with it.
And I think that she was just like, okay, well, he's building a career for me too, and he cares about me. So like, I'm just gonna do it. Like Ike knew that Tina was a once in a lifetime talent, and he was not going to let anything happen to let her get away from him.
Yeah. Ugh.
Mhm. They said in the doc that he like kind of created a Frankenstein type thing. Like he knew he had to control her. So all of a sudden it was like, you're not my little sister, you're my wife now.
No,
And then they get married
Jesus. Oh,
later on. Yeah.
God.
Yep. So again, they create the Ike and Tina Turner Review, which included his band, the Kings of Rhythm. And then they added this girl group called the Ikeettes, which I feel like that doesn't roll off the tongue.
What's with your obsession with your name? Like, drop it. Drop
because he
it.
was like, "I want everyone to know my name." So they were, like, backing vocalists and dancers. He remained as, like, a band's leader, but he wasn't, like, really doing that much. Like, he sang some vocals with her, but Tina was the star,
Well, and
and
that's
that was
probably why he was
clear.
so insecure, you know?
100%, 100%. So they start putting music out and people are just like mesmerized. Like the dancing, her dancing is unreal. You can't take your eyes off of it.
I've seen her shake it, and it is just very it's just so hot and it's so free.
Yes, it's so free. So Oprah said that she used to watch her and think, whatever that is, I want some of that. And she said, I got the spirit. It's no different than being in a church where you're moved and stirred to the point where you can feel it inside of yourself.
Wow.
She was just such a performer, and also at this time, like, she didn't have a glam team, she didn't have a stylist, it was just her and the Ikettes in the green room getting ready together, and Tina said, like, that's where she had the most fun and where she was the most free was, like, getting ready to perform with the Ikettes.
But isn't that like life? It's always the most fun getting ready, and it's always the most fun in the green room for all the theater kids, isn't it?
I know. It's like just these girly pops getting ready together and coming up
Ah,
together.
it's girlhood, it's womanhood.
It's everything.
Mm.
So Ike is really intense. Like he puts the band through a rigorous touring schedule across the United States. They perform 90 days straight in venues around the country. 90 days straight is
And
crazy.
are they getting paid well?
They're not
Or
getting
paid at
paid.
all?
They are getting paid. They're not getting paid that well. They're just grinding it out. They're trying to make it. And also Ike would like control all of the music. So he was very R&B at this time, so all all of the music that Tina was playing was R&B music, which was good, it was great, but, like, Tina's voice could handle even more than that, and she wasn't, like, allowed to explore what she could do.
Yeah, like belt it, girl. Just belt it.
Exactly, and then, Tess, at this time, Tina actually becomes pregnant with Ike's child.
Before they got married?
Before they got married, yeah, and I'm just gonna say that she does have another child that she had with a saxophonist, and I couldn't find when she had that child, so
Hmm.
it must have been, like, right before Ike.
How old is she now?
She's in her early 20s at this point.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Mhm.
thank God.
So she gets pregnant with Ike's kid, and then she quickly realizes, like, "Oh, he's always gonna be this controlling and intense, like, I'm pregnant with our child, and he is still being super controlling and intense about scheduling and touring and rehearsing, like, it's not going to change."
You can't change a man, as we always
No.
say.
Well, at this point, she was like, I'm pregnant. I don't want to tour like this. So, guess what? I'm just not going to do it. And then he's like, this always happens to me. I make people famous and then they leave me the second they become famous.
Oh, honey, talk to a therapist.
Grow up. Like, are you
Like
kidding me?
literally.
And unfortunately, this is where the abuse starts.
Yeah.
So, the first time that it happened, he beat her with a shoe stretcher. And after that, he raped her. And this was the beginning of the torture that he would ensue on her.
Oh my God. So he is like a evil, evil man.
He's an evil man, Ike Turner is. He would beat her with coat hangers until she was swollen, and then he would always have sex with her after. It seemed to be like a constant battle or cycle of beating her violently and then raping her.
Oh my
And
God.
often he would force her to go out on stage after this, and he would say things to her like, quote, "You sing, you motherfucker, because you made me do it." Mhm.
Oh my God. And she's also like, this is what she saw with her parents, and it doesn't sound like she's had a relationship before. So like she thinks that this is somewhat normal.
Exactly, Tess. It's like this cycle of violence that we see in so many of our stories. Also, she's still like, she's 23. She's still literally a child.
Oh my God, that breaks my heart.
I know. So he would just flip in a second, and Tina knew that he had the upper hand, and he would constantly instill fear in her. And they interviewed her tour manager or their tour manager at the time in this, and she was like, we felt so helpless because if we would try to intervene and say anything, he would end up beating her more. It's so interesting because Tina at one point was like, nobody knew. And I'm like, I think more people probably knew than she realized, but it was kind of one of those things that like Ike is the boss, Ike is in charge, so we're just not going to do anything or
Yeah,
we
I mean,
can't do anything.
That's common to be like, "This is, like, kind of our little secret," but it's like, "Honey, you know, it's very obvious." Also, I'm sure people sensed a darkness from that fucking man.
Yeah, and, he would beat her to where she was swollen, so people, I'm sure, saw that as well. And
Ugh.
the sad thing is just that Tina felt so obligated to stay, and she was afraid. She also had this victim's remorse that she would talk about, like, after he would beat her up, sometimes she would end up feeling sorry for him, and then she's like, "Why am I feeling sorry for him?" Which I think a lot of victims go through in that. And she was like, "If I leave, there will be no one else to sing." And she did care about him at this point. She cared about what happened to him, and she was completely caught up in fear and guilt. And she said this, quote, "Those are the two worst qualities, I think, for a young girl to be caught up in, fear and guilt."
I'm gonna cry.
I know. I thought that was very poignant.
Oh, that is, my god.
She was just, like, paying this debt to Ike that was, like, not hers to be paid. She was staying loyal to this man because of his past, but, like, no matter how loyal she was to him, she was never being appreciated for it.
Yeah, that's just like, god, how paralyzed you must feel, in, like, every way of your life. Like, you have a kid with this man, you're involved professionally, it's a cycle of abuse, which is unfortunately very powerful, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
He knew what he was doing. Speaking of having their kid, they did, have their son, Ronnie, in October of 1960, and they moved to Los Angeles. They got married in 1962 in Tijuana. So in total, they have 4 sons. There's Ike Jr. and Michael, and they were Ike's kids from a previous marriage. Craig was Tina's baby from when she was with a saxophone player, and then Ike and Tina had Ronnie together, but Ike and Tina adopted all of them. So the sons that were Ike, Tina ended up adopting and vice versa.
Was, like, and were his kids like, "This is a terrible man," like, was he abusive to his kids?
I don't know if he was abusive to his kids, but he was very abusive to Tina in front of his kids, and his kids hated Ike. Her
Okay.
son said, quote, "Everyone was always happy around my mother, and she was always sad. She never had friends or anyone she could confide in. So basically, her happiness was with us and her time alone in her room. There was nothing she could do about her circumstances. She was on an allowance. She didn't have her own money. My mother really had a non existent life out of the studio and the house."
Oh, and how hard for your kids to see, like, your mom that you idolize and love and that is, like, joyful and positive, and then be like, why are you with this man?" Like,
And I'm
God.
sure that they had a complicated relationship with her as well because she would be on the road for like 8 months and then she would be home for 4 months. And it was like when
Yeah.
she was home, she loved being a mom and she's found so much joy in her kids, but then she was also really strict. And it's kind of like, why aren't you here? So it just seems complicated.
Yeah, that's fair.
But she really did find joy in her family and performing and singing, and really she had a bigger dream than I think even herself or Ike realized that she did, and people started to see that there was more to Tina than what Ike had to offer her. In 1965, music producer Phil Spector, do you know about Phil Spector?
Yeah, because Phil Spector we did another episode where we talked about this man.
He was like the big pop producer at the time, maybe Cher?
I think Cher yes, I think God, I'm like, who else have we covered? We've covered all the
I
girlies.
know. I know, truly. He was like the greatest pop producer at the time. He's also a piece of shit. We have got to cover him at some point.
That's right. Mhm.
Yeah, his story is crazy. So we'll cover him at some point. But he sees Ike and Tina perform and he is just blown away. He's like, bring Tina in because she's a star, leave Ike.
Oh, like, he didn't wanna work with him?
He was like, I don't want Ike being involved. I don't need Ike's opinion on Tina. Ike is just, she is everything. He's just Ken.
Oh, well, thank God.
Thank God. So much so, Tess, that I think it was $20,000 that Phil Spector ended up paying Ike to stay out of the studio. He was like,
Wow.
do not come.
Thank God someone was saying that.
So he brings Tina in. He is like, okay, I want you to sing this song, but I want you to sing it however you want to sing it. Like, sing it the way that feels good to you. Because again, up until this point, she's having to sing only the music that Ike wants and the way that Ike wants.
Interesting.
So, for the first time, Tina has a chance to sing differently. And she said it felt like a bird being let out of a cage. It was like a freedom that she never felt before. And her voice is just unbelievable. It's like a musically a big song, and her voice is just like standing on top of the music.
Oh god, I, like, have chills. I can just imagine it.
It's incredible. And people are also like, this is going to be a number one hit. Like, this is going to be your first number one. It's going to be amazing. It was called River Deep, Mountain High, and it's released in 1966. It reaches number 3 on the UK singles chart. It bombs in the US.
I wonder why.
Oh, I'll tell you why, Tess. Racism.
There we go. Of course, of course. But she was part of also, like, a different like, identity, like, with Ike.
Well, that's such a good point. And here's the thing, at the time, for a Black artist to make it to the pop charts, the artist needs to be in the top 10 on the R&B charts before he'd even go to top 40. But River Deep wasn't R&B, it was pop. So the white DJs were like, this song is too Black. And the Black DJs were like, this song is too white. Because the white DJs are like, we're only going to play it if it's a top 10 R&B song. But it's like, but it's not R&B. Like, why is she supposed to be singing R&B?
Meanwhile, Elvis is like, I'm just appropriating everything.
Wow, Tess, and there it is.
Just
And there it
saying.
is. The thing is that we will see this throughout all of Tina's career, and it's why she does end up, spoiler alert, moving to Europe, because Europe always accepted her. They're like, we don't need to put you in a box. We just want your talent. And the US was like, if you don't sing R&B, we don't want you. But Tina was rock and roll.
God, sometimes, you're just like, America, what's going on? What has been going on?
What has been going on? Such a
Like,
good
just get it
question.
together. Stop being so boring.
Tina said, I've been rock and roll all of my life. I have stood with the rock and roll guys, and they still say, no, she's R&B because she's Black. Wake up, accept talent, accept people, not for their color, but for what they do.
It's just as simple as that. Also, just like
Hmm.
enjoy music, enjoy artists. Like, it's so boring to box people in. Like, it's losery.
Well, it's just like, what talent did we not get to experience because they were put in a box in that way?
I mean, and it's like, obviously, this was a long time ago, but you see many parallels like today with, Beyonce coming out with a country album and people being like so upset. It's like, have we not learned?
No, we have not. But it's like, that's why it's so important to tell stories like this. But you know what? Of course, Ike takes this opportunity to be like, see, this is what happens when you don't work with me. You completely bomb.
I want to,
Yeah.
I hate this man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tess. Well, that's not going to change. I'll tell you that. There is something good that comes from this, obviously. The record does make an impact, so much so that it gave Ike and Tina Turner an opening spot on the Rolling Stones UK tour in 1966.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Mick
That's
Jagger
fun.
and her like develop like a really big friendship. Tina says that she was the one who taught Mick Jagger to dance like that, which I believe it.
I believe it too, because you know that a white man is not just doing that naturally.
100%. And then eventually they do end up opening for the Rolling Stones on the US tour, and then they become even more mainstream in the US. And then in November 1967, Tina becomes the first female artist and the first Black artist to appear on the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine.
So cool. Oh, I'm excited to see the cover.
She was on the cover alone.
Yeah, she should be.
People are getting it, you know?
It's happening. You know what it's I'm sorry to bring it here, but you know what it's reminding me of?
What?
When they asked Nick and Jessica to be on Rolling Stone together, and then they get a call and they're like, actually, can we just have her in underwear? And he was devastated.
Tess, that is such a good parallel. Oh God, it's just like all these stories in history of like these women shining and these men being so threatened by them.
So fucking sensitive. And like, just isn't it so hot to like let your woman shine? Isn't
It
it?
really is. And we've been saying that.
We have.
And here's the thing is that Tina is still so like committed to trying to help Ike get a number one hit. Like she felt like she was obligated to do that. Tess, in 1971, we do finally have a major breakout hit, their cover of Creedence Clearwater's Revival's Proud Mary.
Wow.
When I was in ninth grade, We sang Proud Mary and did the dance moves to it, and might I just say, what a disgrace to have this choir in Arkansas performing Proud Mary.
Oh, could we get a little snippet? Do you remember?
No, you absolutely cannot, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it was that concert that my mom was like, "I cannot wait to never go to a choir concert ever again."
I mean, God, just justice for, all of the parents that have to sit through, just sit through all of it,
The
literally.
choir concerts, the band performances, the theater performances is tough.
Oh my God, really though? You guys are sweet.
The parents' love goes so deep. So Proud Mary breaks out onto the scene and people were just obsessed with it. It became their biggest hit. The single reached number 4 on Hot 100 and sold more than 1 million copies. And it also won them a Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or a Group.
Nice.
And this is like what really takes them mainstream. So now they're on talk shows, they're like performing on TV. And then when they're on talk shows, like she is the star that she is. She's so magnetic, she's so like personable, and he's very quiet. It's like he is so insecure. So he just kind of goes within himself and she just does all the talking.
Ugh.
But with this number 1 hit comes even more pressure to like do it again. This is when Ike becomes even worse than he already was. He was always violent, but he becomes even more impatient and volatile, and the abuse just gets worse. So when we were talking about like her sons seeing this happen in front of them, one of her sons recalled hearing her screams in the home. And one time, Ike was striking Tina in front of her sons, and then he threw a pot of scalding hot coffee on her. And she said that she just found a way to live with it by just being ashamed.
Ugh.
And one time she goes to the doctor and tells him that she's been having trouble sleeping. So she's given a prescription for Valium. And one night she took the whole bottle
Oh
in a suicide
man.
attempt.
Oh my God.
She ends up pulling through. She talked about being in the hospital and having Ike come into the room, and her heart rate just started going crazy. She was just so terrified by this man. And the really horrific thing is on the doc, they have an interview clip from 2000 with Ike Turner where he's asked about the suicide attempt. And he ends up saying that Tina attempting suicide a few times was some form of trying to get attention, that she was unhappy with the things that he was doing, like being a womanizer and being with all these women. And the real truth was that she was trying to be something for him that she wasn't. And that was the lead to their downfall, is because she was trying to be something for him that she wasn't.
This man needs to rot in hell. This man needs
I
to
think
rot in hell.
I think Ike Turner is rotten in hell. I think we
I
can be sure of that.
I hope so. My
Yeah.
God.
And
Ugh.
it's so interesting on the interview clip too. You see him start to answer, and then you can see him be like, "Oh, people actually won't like the way that I said that, so I'm going to take it back." And he's like, "Let me take it back," like 3 times, and it's still his answer is so selfish.
But did people see right through him?
Not at this time, because
Damn.
at this time we're still in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And in 2000, I mean, listen, we still live in a patriarchal society. So, like, women get blamed for abuse all the time still.
And yeah, oh, 100%. I mean, Trump just made a whole speech about domestic violence and how it's silly and he belittled it. Like, that's our president. So,
It's really upsetting. So, obviously, Tina is living in hell, but Tina is introduced to Buddhism, and Buddhism for her changes everything.
oh, well, that's great.
There was this woman working at the studio, and she was talking to Tina about Buddhism and said that it promised change. And this just made Tina's ears perk up. She was like, I need change in my life, you know?
She probably was really searching for something, grasping at straws to feel any hope or safety,
Guidance.
guidance. Yeah.
So Buddhism becomes a way out for Tina. There are these Buddhist chants. I really don't know much about Buddhism, but there are these like Buddhist chants and meditations. And so she started doing that. She would even do it on stage sometime. And she talked about how one time she was doing a Buddhist chant on stage and she heard someone shout, "Tina, you're finally receiving." So it was
Oh
very
man.
Very powerful for her, and the more that she chanted, the more she became mentally liberated, and she started to see her life and started to see, "Okay, I need to make some changes." So she started becoming more confident, less afraid of Ike, and Ike starts to recognize that as well, that he couldn't control her anymore because she wasn't putting up with any of that.
Did it, like, stop him hurting her?
Oh, no, he definitely still tried. 'Cause in July of 1976, Ike and Tina flew to Dallas where they had a gig. And on the way from the airport, they were in the car, and she's wearing this, like, gorgeous white YSL suit, and he's eating these, like, melted chocolate candies and trying to get her to eat them, and she's like all she said was, "Ugh," because she's wearing this gorgeous suit.
Yeah, like, no touchy.
No touchy. So then Ike backhanded her because of that. And she said that she just had this moment where she was like, "I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not gonna do this anymore." And so she tells him that, "I'm not gonna take any more of your licks." And then she actually hit back, and she said she didn't cry because she just knew that she was done, and it felt like she was flying. He continues to hit her in the car. Tess, when they get to the hotel, she is completely swollen and bloody, and she's just walking through the lobby like that with blood all over her.
So, like, when these kind of things happen, like, the driver that they had must have seen this all, right?
Yeah, and I think it was like, "I can't say anything."
Oh my god.
And again, the tour manager was like, everyone was afraid to say anything, like, we didn't know what to do. So Ike and Tina go up to their hotel room. Tina pretends like everything is normal until he falls asleep. And then Tina fled with only 36 cents and a mobile card.
Did she have access to, like, her own money, or did he
He
Oh my
controlled
god.
he controlled everything. So she flees with 36 cents and a mobile card, and she just runs, Tess. Like, she was flying. She ends up running across the highway and almost getting hit by a car, but she was like, "I just have to get out." She said she felt so strong, though. And so she makes it to a Ramada Inn. She asks for the manager. Again, she's covered in blood. Her face is swollen. And she says, "My name is Tina Turner." She shows him her ID. She goes, "I only have 36 cents, but if you give me a room, I promise you I will pay you back for this."
Did anyone recognize her at this point?
I'm sure, like, because I think that she was famous. I mean, I think her face was a little disfigured, but the hotel manager was like, "No problem." He puts her up in a really nice room. She calls an attorney friend. He arranges for a ticket and a friend to take her to the airport. And the next day, she took a plane back to LA and she went into hiding so that Ike wouldn't be able to find her. And Tess, she said she'll never forget that day because it was the 4th of July, and that was the day she got her freedom.
God.
I know. We're gonna take a little break, but Tina's story is far from over, so you guys come back right after this break. Okay, and we are back. So, Tess, the divorce was very clean cut because she gets nothing.
Because of why?
I don't know if it was because of the contract that she signed when she's 17. She gets no house, no money, no cars. She does have full custody of the sons, so she's responsible for their sons, but he gets everything of their career, like all of the song credits, all of the royalties, everything.
That is beyond.
Mhm. So when the judge calls them in, though, she says, "There is one thing that I want and one thing that I will fight for, and that is my name. I want to keep my name, Tina Turner."
Interesting.
For her to keep her name was to reclaim it and to redefine it. She knew what she could do. She knew that she could make Tina into a business. And Ike also knew that. So Ike really fought for that because he knew that she was a star, but she won her name in court. And it was also like a fuck you to Ike. Like, yeah, you gave me this name, but watch what I can grow with
I was
that.
actually just thinking that. I was like, how iconic to be like, "Oh, but I thought you said that you liked me as Tina Turner." So, like, watch me, bitch.
Exactly. She is 38 years old, Tess, and she has to completely start from scratch.
Whew.
She said, quote, "When I left, I was living a life of death. I didn't exist. I didn't fear him killing me when I left because I was already dead. When I walked out, I didn't look back." But here's the thing. They had a ton of business debts because when she left and divorced him, they had like a whole tour lined up that they had to pay money back for. He was left with all the royalties. She was left with all the debts. So for almost 2 years, she had to live off of food stamps.
Does she have full custody of the kids?
Full custody of the kids. She has to live on food stamps with these 4 kids.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Mhm. So she was like, "This is not the end for me. I'm going to get to work and do whatever I can to provide for myself and for my kids." So she started playing McDonald's conventions. She played these like small Vegas shows. They booked her like on every TV show that they could get her on. So she did the Sonny and Cher show, Donnie and Marie, the Brady Bunch Hour, like whatever they could get her on, she would be on there. But while she's doing all these appearances, it was like this shadow of Ike Turner was over her because people always saw them together. So now she's alone and they'd be like, "What happened to Ike? Like, are you guys still together? What's going on?"
Oh my god, and she can't be like, "Oh, he's a abusive, disgusting monster, and I feared for
Exactly.
my life every day." But,
Ex
you know.
exactly. So she would just have to, like, really play it off, and she was, like, such a professional about it and would have to, like, smile and just be like, "Oh, we're not together anymore."
Whew, couldn't be
And
me.
it
Couldn't be
No.
me.
Well, also, it just triggers so much trauma for her every time his name is mentioned, too.
And also people mentioning him in such, like, a casual way of like, "Oh, we know Ike, we love him," and, like, she's the only one that knows the depth of his darkness.
It's just awful.
Oh,
So when she was performing in Vegas, she's like wearing the Bob Mackie costume. She's doing more like cabaret performances like Countess Luann could never. But Tina ends up being kind of considered like a nostalgic act.
yeah, I think it's hard for people to understand when, like, anyone tries to reinvent themselves. Especially for women, it's looked at as, like, losery.
Well, yes, and she's 40 at this point too, So it's kind of like, well, it's just a has been.
It's just crazy, or 40 that's 40 is so young.
So young when she's 40. Roger Davies, who is Olivia Newton-John's manager, he agrees to manage Tina after seeing her perform at the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco. Do you know that
Ah,
hotel?
of course, I've been to that hotel many a time. It's lovely.
She was doing her little cabaret performance there. And Tina knew too. She was like, I just need a manager. Like, I know I can get myself there, but I need someone to like kind of help me out.
Yeah.
So Roger and Tina meet and he's like, okay, what do you want to do with your career? And Tina is like, I want to be the first Black rock and roll singer to fill stadiums like the Rolling Stones. That's what I want to do.
We love, like, what a lesson in just, like, fucking say it. Just manifest it. Go so big.
And like, don't let anyone put you in a box. Like, know your own worth and like know what you can do because no woman rock star had done that at that time. And, she is 40. She's older than your average pop star, which again, 40 is like nothing. And I feel like we're starting to see that now, like be redefined, but it's still.
It took a long time.
But luckily, Roger and Tina were both like, fuck it, we're going to do it. So they were like, we have to redefine who Tina Turner is because people still don't know who you are by yourself.
Yeah.
So she cuts her long hair into this like, I mean, everyone knows like what that Tina Turner wig is. It's like
Yeah.
this big 80s cut.
It was a
And
time.
it was a time. And she leaves her Bob Mackie costumes for these like short rock and roll dresses. You've got to show off the gams again.
Ugh, chic.
And she is just ready to work. But the thing is that like no record companies wanted to work with Tina Turner on their own. They were like, who is Tina Turner in this world? Who is Tina Turner without Ike Turner?
But what about, like, Mick Jagger? Like, is anyone, like, helping her, like, rooting for her in the industry?
I don't really think so. I mean, I think that like Mick Jagger and them, like, I think he loved Tina, but I don't think he was like taking his time to like advocate for her,
Yeah.
you know? So Tina was like, "Well, if no one in America is going to accept me, I'm gonna go over to England because they've always liked what I've had to do." They end up getting a deal with Capitol Records and they start working on an album. Her manager brings her this song called "What's Love Got to Do with It?"
Ah, and there it is.
And there it is. It was originally sung by this like English pop band and it was like kind of cheesy. And when Tina first heard it, she was like, "I hate that song. Like, absolutely not."
But it just shows, like, the power of, like, a true, like, recreation of something, and, like, she can do it.
Well, she said, "I take great songs and I turn them into rock and roll on stage." And so she meets with the writer and the producer, and he's like, just sing it like how you would sing it, like don't sing it like the pop stars. Actually, to this day, she's like, I don't really like that song that much.
I feel like that's, like, so typical of artists, like, their biggest song, they're like, I don't wanna sing that anymore." But it's like, that's what the
Ex-
people want. That's what the
That's what
people
the
want.
people want. And that's what she gave them. And Tess, you're right. It is her biggest song. It was released in 1984 and it becomes her first number one.
Wow, yay, finally.
I know. I actually think it might have been her only number one,
Really?
which is crazy.
And
But
just in the
yeah,
UK? Or
no, this becomes huge everywhere. They ended up making this album in 2 weeks, which is crazy, and it was certified 5 times platinum in the United States.
damn, good for
Mhm.
her. Good for our
It's
girl.
good for our girl. She also won 3 Grammys that year.
Mm,
So Tina Turner is back, you guys, but she says she doesn't consider this album a comeback album. She considers it a debut album.
mm.
Tess, she's 50 at this point now, and her career just takes off.
Let that be a lesson to us all,
I
you
know
know?
it's never over.
It's never over, and, like, there's truly no time like, there is no timeline, and timelines are just based on the patriarchy, truly. For women, it's
Completely.
very, like, by 50, you're pointless because you're old and haggard, and it's like, that is just not true at all.
It's not, and I love the way that she talks about age too, because she's like, I don't really see like why people are talking about my age so much. Like I take care of myself. I can still go out and do it. So like, why would I not go out and do it?
And that it's as simple as that, isn't it?
It's as simple as that. So her career just takes off. She goes on a massive world tour. She fulfills her dreams of playing stadiums. She also
Ugh.
stars in 1985 in the third Mad Max film.
Oh, good for her. So she's getting a little dip in the as an actress. They
They
always
always
want to, don't
do.
they?
They always do. Tina Turner just becomes so much bigger than Ike and Tina Turner ever was. Like she does become the biggest pop star in the world at this time because people also don't realize how massive she is in Europe. Like she's big in the United States, she's massive in Europe.
Wow. Wow.
After her 24/7 tour in 2000, it sold more than $1 million worth of tickets. And she was the Guinness World Records holder for the more tickets sold than any other solo performer in history. That's since been broken. I would assume by Taylor or Beyonce.
Okay, but God, that's incredible.
But at that time, it's like she was living on food stamps in her 40s. And then in her 50s, she was the most sold solo performer in history.
Look at her now. Look at her go.
But Tess, as she's getting bigger, people just like won't stop talking about Ike. Like in every interview that they did, out of all the success she was having, people were still asking her about Ike, and it was just making her depressed.
But, like, is he even doing anything cool at this point? Like, what's with the obsession?
He's getting arrested. He's getting arrested for cocaine.
Oh my God.
And so
Ugh.
then people are like, I don't know if I said that earlier that he did develop like a severe cocaine addiction.
Well, not surprised.
Yeah, and so then people will be like, "Well, what do you think about that?" And she's like, "I honestly don't think about Ike." Like, she did not wanna be asked about it. So then her manager made a suggestion that he was like, "If you tell your story in your own words, then people might stop talking about it for once and for all." And she thought that too. She was like, "If I put the whole story out there, then people won't have any more questions to ask."
It's, like, unfair that women in the public eye always have to make this decision of doing a memoir or doing a tell-all with a problematic interviewer. Like, it shouldn't have to be an all or nothing, but, like, we see that.
Well, that's exactly what she ended up doing. She did a sit down interview with People Magazine, and People Magazine was like the publication at the time. And the People Magazine writer thought that it was just kind of a comeback story. And then she ended up being like, no, I actually want to tell you everything about what happened to me. And then she works with a writer to come out with an autobiography that was called I, Tina. It was a New York Times bestseller. And she tells everything about the abuse. And then in 1993, a semi-autobiographical film called What's Love Got to Do with It was released, and it starred Angela Bassett as Tina Turner.
Oh, that's right.
I've never
Okay,
seen
yeah.
it.
But I can, like, picture it.
And Lawrence Fishburne as Ike Turner. And then the story reaches even more people, and it's shocking to everyone.
Do people believe her and support her? Is there backlash?
No, she actually becomes, like, a huge source of inspiration to women, like, so many women and men, like, found so much strength in her and had no idea of what was happening, and she was so beloved
Well,
in
that's
America
amazing.
at this point. Yeah, but she thought, like, "Okay, if I tell my story, then people will stop asking me about it," and it does quite the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine that just being, like, easy for her.
Well, and that's it's kind of a natural thing, right? Like if I were a journalist and the story came out that we had never heard about before to ask about it. Like I do think that is natural. And so unfortunately, it becomes like kind of her identifier in some ways. Like she will never escape from these questions. And it's so sad to see her being asked about Ike and asked about the abuse in so many of these interviews because you just see a shift and you see the hurt in her and you see her being triggered by all of that.
God, it's, like, reminding me too of l like, I mean, so many pop stars that, like, their identities were all based on men that they dated. Like, think about, like, Britney Spears, like, the queen, like, so like, obviously an icon, and she's asked about Kevin Federline, like, for 10
Mhm.
years after they got divorced. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Exactly. She would always be like, "Well, I don't really wanna talk about that right now." And even, like, for people asking questions that have good meaning behind them, she doesn't wanna talk about the abuse in her life anymore. Like, she's
No.
finally away from this man. You know what's disgusting is I was watching a Larry King interview from 1997, and this is what he said.
Here we
Larry
go.
King, he goes, "So you were swept up by his charms," of talking about Ike. And Tina says, "Musically." And then Larry King laughs and said, quote, "You didn't know he was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world at this time?" I was so appalled when I saw that. And it's like just all these men that have the audacity to talk to women like that. It's like the Howard Stern thing. It's disgusting.
We just talked about this with Pamela Anderson, like, and you're like, "Oh, that must have been ages ago," and you're like, "No, that was, like, 15 years ago."
Exactly. It's so upsetting. And I was even having this thought when I was doing my research. I was like, I feel like her abuse was made like kind of a joke at some point. And so I looked into it, and it is just truly callously mentioned in so many rap songs and made as a joke. Kanye in Diamonds Are Forever, he says, "Before I beat myself up like Ike." Biggie has a line that says, "Beaten motherfuckers like Ike beat Tina."
Oh my god.
And then what I was so upset about is in Drunken Love with Beyonce and Jay-Z, there is a line where Jay-Z says, "Eat the cake, anime." You know that part where he says, "Eat the cake, anime,
Yeah.
eat the cake." That line is in reference to a What's Love, the movie scene where Ike Turner forces Tina, still going by her old name, Anime Bullock, to eat a piece of cake in a diner, which I was just so shook by because Beyonce is a huge Tina Turner fan. She sang Proud Mary at the Kennedy Center Honor for Tina Turner. How could she ever let that line be in there? Just makes me so upset because obviously I want to rationalize it and I'm like, well, maybe she like didn't know what that line was. I was like, Beyonce is a brilliant woman. You think that she doesn't know what every line of a song means?
Of course, and, like, they are, like, duetting, they're collaborating on this, like, of course she's gonna be like if she didn't know, she'd be like, "Wait, what the fuck?" So, like,
Yeah.
that's very upsetting, it's just gross to me, it's like, ugh, it's just frustrating,
I just can't imagine having to talk about my past in that way and how triggering that must be, and then people creating art, just making a mockery of it. The way that she had to relive it is just so awful.
and it's like, you know that men are gonna do that, and then when especially a woman, it stings even more because 'cause you're just
It
like,
does.
"No, don't do that."
Exactly. So she just has to live with this shadow of pain and is constantly asked about it throughout her life. And at one point, an interviewer does ask her about her current love life. And she said, quote, "I'm a girl from a cotton field that pulled myself above what was not taught to me. I have not received love almost ever in my life. I did not have it from my mother or father from the beginning of birth, and I survived. I have had not one love affair that was genuine and sustained itself. I want a man without shame that says, 'I will not disappoint you. I'm here for you, and it's all right.'"
Oh my god, that's heartbreaking.
I know, you could just tell how desperately she wanted to be loved by somebody.
Of course, and, like, everyone deserves that, like, and there's so many people that go throughout their whole lives with being like, "Oh, I think I was in," like, toxic relationships forever, and, like, that's such a lonely feeling to be like, "I've never fully been in love," like, or been
Well
loved? That's heartbreaking.
well, Tess, in 1986, Tina met a German music executive named Erwin Bach. Okay? So let's talk about Erwin. He was sent by a European record label to greet Tina at the airport. He was 16 years her junior,
Okay,
actually.
girl. Okay. We
Go
like
off,
it.
Tina, literally. So she immediately was like, "Who is that?" She said he just had the prettiest face and her heart was just pounding. And she said that means that souls have just met.
Is he a good person?
He's a good person, Tess.
Oh, thank, because I was like, I can't. I actually don't think my heart can take this.
He's a good person, and when she found out or when he found out that she liked him, they were in Nashville together, and she said to him, "When you come to LA, I want you to make love to me."
Oh, shit, okay. We love a little forward man.
And that's no, she said that to
Oh, she
him.
said that. Oh, Tina. I bet she was like, "Let me," I mean, not to be graphic, but she was like, "Let me just get some." My
Get some.
god.
Well, he had that exact reaction. She said that he was just so shook. But she just was drawn to him. There was something so different about him. He was so laid back and so comfortable and not pretentious. And this is the beginning of their relationship. They date for 27 years and then they get
Stop.
married. Yes.
Stop. Oh, thank God.
Yes.
On the brim. Thank
I
God.
know, and he's interviewed in the doc, and he said there was just this electrical charge between them that he still has. He went, "I left her 2 hours ago this morning, and I still feel that electrical charge."
I'm
I
gonna
know.
throw up. It's so sweet. I
They're
love
just
it.
so sweet together, and they end up moving to Switzerland together and living in this stunning, gorgeous home, and they just seem so in love.
She deserves it. My God. And let this be a lesson, Rami, is like it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you even when you don't think it is. God,
It's
it
there, and you
is.
are worthy of it.
Yes.
So in 2019, she produced her Broadway play called Tina. And she also did a documentary for HBO. And she said this was her goodbye and her closure to her American fans. In 2021, Tina was inducted by Angela Bassett into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist. She had previously been inducted as a pair with Ike and Tina, but then she was inducted a second time solo. So she is a
Full
double
body chills.
inductee. I know.
Oh my God.
She always wanted to be in rock and roll, and she's a fucking double inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh,
I know, I have the
what?
chills
That's
too.
crazy. Oh my gosh.
Ike did end up dying of a cocaine overdose in 2007. Tina said she hated Ike until the day he died, and then she realized what a sick person he was. She said at a certain stage, forgiveness takes over, and she starts to let it go so that she herself doesn't have to suffer anymore.
I mean, they do say that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. However, that takes a very big and mature and loving person to say that she feels for him.
There's just so many layers to it because the abuse itself is so evil that you would never expect anyone to forgive. And then you're constantly haunted by this person.
Right. So your brain is probably like, I have to forgive to be able to move on and also probably forgive herself a little bit too,
Yeah,
like I think it's complicated. And when she was saying that she used to sort of feel bad for him when it happened, that probably stays with you, like in your body, that feeling. So it's just complicated.
I agree. And just the way that she continued was to be re-triggered into her trauma every time she was asked about him. It's just devastating. So I'm so
God.
glad that she could find some peace from that afterwards.
Whatever you need to do to find peace for yourself, like that's all that should matter. But like also like you
Exactly.
don't have to forgive people. Like I think that that's like a thing that women, it's like you have to forgive to move on. Like you can do it in your own way, but you don't have to be like, I forgive you. I feel very strongly about that actually.
I completely agree. But Tess, on May 24th, 2023, Tina Turner died at her home in Switzerland at the age of 83 following years of illness. Tina Turner is celebrated as the queen of rock and roll with more than 100 million albums sold, 8 Grammys, and an incalculable impact on popular music. Her vibrant live shows laid the blueprint for generations of leading women to follow. The road of every pop singer's feverish onstage dance routine leads back to her. Oprah said this at Tina's Kennedy Center honors, quote, "We don't need another hero. We need more heroines like you, Tina. You make me proud to spell my name, WOMAN, woman."
Oh God.
I know, I have the chills
It's just
again.
too much. My goodness.
And that is Tina Turner.
I forgot that she had passed, and I was like, for a second, I was like, "Ish," and then I remembered all of the like in memoriams and stuff. But God,
Mhm.
what an amazing, inspiring story, truly.
This is a woman who went through so much trauma, who lost everything she had at 40 and decided, I will not back down, and completely reinvented herself.
Then the best years of her life were her second half of her life. Like, how incredible! And she got everything that she wanted. She got love. She got, to be a solo rock star. Like, God,
Oh, it's gonna make me cry again.
it's gonna make me cry too.
The other night when I was just really going through it and it was making me so emotional, I was just so upset that like Ike had to take away so much of her shine for so long, but like so grateful that she continued to push through and believe in herself and choose herself every single time.
Because it's really hard to do that, like, especially when an abusive relationship defines so much of your life and your career. A lot of people don't have that experience of, like, being able to kind of be like, "That was in the past, let me move on." Like, that's so hard, and she did it.
She's brave and bold in like every sense of the words.
Oh, I love her. I love her.
I love her too. And Grammys, I highly encourage you guys to watch the HBO doc. It is like, I can only do so much, but to really see her and see her life is a whole different experience. And we will be posting pictures and videos to the carousel on our Instagram at Right Answers Mostly. Follow us on TikTok. We'll be talking about it there as well. And Tina, we love you.
We love you so much. I'm so glad we did that episode. Mm.
Me too. All right, Rammies. Well, we will be back next week with a very different vibe.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Let's just say that. Who would have thought? My God, what's going
Who would
on?
have thought? If you're not subscribed on Apple and Spotify, please do follow us on our socials and join our premium channel for even more Ram.
We love you guys so much.
We love you. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.